Welcome, welcome everyone. I am pleased to welcome you to the International Day of Study Intersections, New Perspectives for Public Humanities, an event organized by the Humanities for Change Network and promoted by the Venice Center for Digital and Public Humanities of Ca' Foscari University of Venice and the Faculty of Philology of the University of Banja. The initiative is financed with funds for student activities of the Ca' Foscari University of Venice. I am Damiano Pellizzaro, a student at Ca' Foscari University and co-founder of Humanities for Change. As some of you already know, Humanities for Change is an international network of students and young scholars who are committed to establish a different role for the humanistic disciplines in the present time. Its activity of divulgation and dissemination is concentrated on certain fundamental themes, such as the digital and public humanities, innovative professional opportunities for graduated of this field, of this area, the reflection on innovations in the didactic environment, and the potential of the collaboration and the contamination with hard sciences. Date, Humanities for Change comprises a blog that publishes every week an article in Italian and in English, the semi-annual scientific journal Meta in Platinum Open Access and double-blind peer review, which includes more articulate contributions. And lastly, some working groups on the themes of the network that deal with issues such as textual scholarship, digital public history, didactic innovations, and the links between humanities and corporate work. For more information about us, about our network, I invite you to follow us on our social accounts, to visit our website, and to subscribe to our newsletter. Before starting, I would like to thank, on behalf of Humanities for Change, our partners for this event, the Venice Center for Digital and Public Humanities and the Faculty of Philology of the University of Banja Luka for the constant support shown in these months, as well for the help received for the organization and promotion of this event. I will not dwell on the activities of these two institutions because I'm at the end of this presentation, I'm going to give the floor to representatives of these two institutions. Last but not least, I would like to thank Ca' Foscari and specifically the Settore Diritto allo Studio for approving the disbursement of the funds that have allowed the realization of this event. A warm and special thank in particular to Corinna Bagato, who assisted us in carrying out the bureaucratic procedures. We now turn our attention to the theme of this day of study, that is the methodological reflection and the search for new areas of application for public humanities. We at Humanities for Change have decided to propose this moment of confrontation because the themes of this day fall within our field of interest. We think that this new perspective through which to look at the humanities can be particularly fruitful in a historical moment like ours. We are fortunate because we live in a world that has seen an unprecedented growth in literacy and schooling, and the ongoing digital revolution has led to a radical change in the amount and methods of acquiring information of any kind. But precisely for this reason, it is necessary to rethink the way in which the general public and the academic environment come into contact. The shared need is no longer only to reach knowledge, but to get there through an active and interactive experience that can break the fourth wall, the quarta parete, that separates the workers of culture and the other citizens. Certainly, it is not an easy objective. The specificities of the different fields can be obstacles when you want to relate with those who are not part of those sectors. How much is it possible then to make, for example, a literary text in a public dimension without distorting its essence? Or how is it possible to work with a Protean matter such as collective memory with thousands of people? The digital world then opens the door to a wide range of possibilities and answers, but they must be carefully probed and examined. For example, at this time when physical proximity is limited, how does the fruition of artistic work change? Is this relationship at distance with art an effective form of relation? These and other questions will guide us through this day. We hope to stimulate a moment of fruitful sharing in hope that the answers to the question raised by the public humanities will succeed in making the humanities themselves and therefore mementists increasingly participatory and ultimately more accessible and democratic. Before giving the floor to Professor Franz Fischer, Director of the Venice Center for Digital and Public Humanities, I would like to give you some operational information about the organization of this day. The conference is divided into 4 panels with 3 papers each, plus a keynote by Professor Jeffrey Schnapp of Harvard University. I invite the speakers to stick strictly please to the assigned time, that is 20 minutes, since the program is quite dense. At the end of each panel, there is a 30 minutes discussion time during which the audience can speak by activating the camera and microphone or by writing in chat. We remind you that the event is recorded. Anyway, if you want, you can write your questions in chat during the speaker's talk. The discussant will resume them at the beginning of the discussion. The talk of our guest, Jeffrey Schnapp, founder of MetaLab at Harvard University, is scheduled from 3:30 to 4:30, and for the occasion, it will be streamed also on YouTube, in addition to Zoom. This is the only virtual room of Zoom for the entire day. Thank you for your attention. I now give the floor to Professor Franz Fischer, Director of the Venice Center for Digital and Public Humanities.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed, Damiano. Is my audio okay? So, or should I take my headset? Just give me a go.
Yeah, yes, it's
okay. So the quality,
yes.
Okay. So, thanks again, Damiano, and thank you to the whole team of Humanities for Change for having Cap Foscari and the Venice Center for Digital and Public Humanities involved in this exciting event, or rather a series of exciting events. So this program is really impressive, as impressive as your visionary force and professional capacity in organizing this study day and the subsequent events. Humanities are changing. We all take part in a process of fundamental change, the digital transformation of society and academia. in all its components and practices of communication and interaction, of representing and generating knowledge, of accessing and perceiving cultural heritage, art, present and past. So the very material shaping our understanding of history and the human condition. So all this is in the course of being digitally transformed. And this event aims, as far as I see, at exploring what is actually changing and what's the impact on society and the academic landscape, and what we can learn, change, and improve, achieve ourselves at the intersection of humanities and public space. So this is exactly the reason why the Center for Digital and Public Humanities has been founded in the summer last year, in June 2019, about 8 months before the pandemic started spreading in Veneto and Lombardia, and from there to other parts of Europe and the world. So founded to take a more proactive role, not just to follow technological progress or fashion, but to restore, rebuild, and critically redesign humanities ourselves. So to enhance scholarly methods and communication the way we want to perform, or we think is the best way, or more exciting, or more efficient, or more adequate way to do humanities research and teaching. In an ever-changing society and in anticipation of a collapsing climate. So our activities as a center range from running a brand new master program, an international journal. Yesterday, the first issue has been published, and we will advertise this in the course of the day or tomorrow. We organize seminars, workshops, and training events, summer school, and we do collaborative and interdisciplinary research projects, all in the field of digital and public humanities, or more specifically in the field of textual scholarship, history, art history, archaeology, and the cultural heritage sector. So some of these activities, so I won't get into details of a specific project, will be presented or referred to by in the following presentations by colleagues, I think. Of course, you can check our website or follow our social media, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. And yeah, it's a pity we are not gathering all together as original planned as in Ca' Foscari main building in Sala Baratto. Overlooking the Canale Grande, so this famous view in both directions towards Rialto Bridge and towards Accademia Bridge. As Damiano just said, it's just the right time, and it's even more urgent right now to seek and provide orientation in both directions. So society and humanities, Rialto business, and the fine arts at Accademia. I hope you will come to Venice as soon as this pandemic is over to join the gentle stream of tourists, residents, commuters, even children, students, professors, actors, artists, and business people. I very much encourage you, Damiano, and your team and colleagues from the Humanities for Change network to organize a second International Day of Study. But first things first, I wish you a lot of inspiration, new insights, and good entertainment. And I really thank you very much and wish you a good study day. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Franz Fischer, for the institutional greetings. And thank you again for the help that you've given us for the organization and the promotion. I now give the floor to Professor Stefano Adamo of the Faculty of Philology of the University of Banja Luka, who has promptly responded to our call and who will give another course of institutional greetings. Thank you, Professor Stefano Adamo.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you, the organizers. I'm pleased to join my fellow hosts in welcoming you to this International Day of Study, where we are going to discuss such a crucial topic for the humanities as its relevance today in today's world and its potential new perspectives for future development. My name is Stefano Adamo. As it was already recalled, I am the chair of the Italian Studies Department at the Faculty of Philology of the University of Banja where I also teach modern Italian history and literature. The Faculty of Philology of the University of Banja is pleased to promote this event, and the Dean of the faculty, Professor Biljana Babic, as well as the Vice Dean for Research, Professor Sasha Shmulya, join me in this moment in sending all our panelists their best wishes. It is today almost a platitude to say that the humanities are in a crisis. When we ask our students why they chose to enroll in higher education, let alone majoring in a foreign language, the answer we get most often revolves around a not too clear idea of self-development. In other words, most of our students think that studying humanities may get you in touch with a type of knowledge that might not train you in a specific job, but can do no harm either. Events like the present one, like our day of study, show that the humanities are responding to the challenge and there are good reasons to believe that things do not need to stay this way. Furthermore, I believe that the reality around us is itself creating a new need for humanities. Information overload, one of the defining features of our time, requires critical capacities that the humanities can provide more effectively than any other discipline. What's more, the study of language, culture, history, and cognate fields need not to be just another specialized educational curriculum among others. It can be flexible enough to work in conjunction with other curriculums to extend a student's critical creative abilities beyond his or her specific field of training. A recent study of the US Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that the average person today changes jobs an average of 12 times during their working life. Ever more people are realizing that it is imperative that students and workers have the flexibility of mind, are creative, and develop strong critical and analytical skills to reinvent themselves in different professional settings today and in the future. The new type of worker, this means, is increasingly being described as a person who can address new and different challenges with a problem-solving approach, employ critical thinking skills, and demonstrate social intelligence. Expressions like problem solving, critical thinking, and social intelligence may sound trite, but have non-trivial implications, in my opinion. I would like to conclude by recalling that as early as 1991, would-be US Secretary of Labor, Robert Reich, an economist at Berkeley, identified 3 all-new professional categories that would have defined, in his opinion, and I think he was right, we can say today, 21st century work. He called them routine production services, office work, basically, in-person services, and symbolic analytic services. Of these 3 categories, the latter is where Reich saw the best opportunities for workers of the future, and today we know he was right. Symbolic analysts, Reich wrote, trade in the manipulations of symbols data, words, oral, and visual representations. Symbolic analysts solve, identify, and broker problems by manipulating symbols. They simplify reality into abstract images that can be rearranged, juggled, experimented with, communicated to other specialists, and then eventually transformed back into reality. Most interesting for our topic is what Reich says about the formal training of symbolic analysts. The formal education of an incipient symbolic analyst, he writes, thus entails refining 4 basic skills: abstraction, system thinking, experimentation, and collaboration. When Reich delves into the details of these skills, it becomes clear that the humanities may play a significant role in cultivating them. And well, I see these as words of hope and of good wish. And it is with these words that I would like to wish all of you a very pleasant and rich day of study today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Stefano Adamo, for this interesting introduction, and thank you also for the promotion of and the help that you gave us. I now give the floor to my colleague Irene Manprin for the introduction of the first panel. Thank you again, Professor Adamo. Irene, okay.
Good morning, everybody. I would like to thank Damiano, Professor Fischer, and Stefano Adamo for the institutional openings and for presenting the activities of Humanities for Change and of the partners who have promoted the initiative, the Venice Center for Digital and Public Humanities and the Faculty of Philology of the University of Banja Luka. We can start with the first panel of this day, entitled A Glance at Public History. As the title shows, in fact, this panel is entirely dedicated to digital and public history. We will see how the new technology in the digital age can enhance historical research, and in particular, how they relate to the public aspect of history. Of course, public history came to light well before digital history. In fact, it was officially born in 1975 in the USA, and in 1976, the first course was inaugurated at the University of California, Santa Barbara. The discipline originated from historians' need to detach themselves from the self-referentially and self-isolation produced by the so-called ivory tower of the academic elite. In this way, historians found new work outlets outside the academia and focused on the public dimension of history, making the public a co-star of historical research. Now, in the Web 3.0 era, how can public history interact with digital? What is the added value of digital tools for historical research? We can talk about it today with Professor Stefano Dallaglio of Ca' Foscari University, Francesca Vera Romano of La Sapienza University of Rome, and Iris Pupella Nog of the University of Paris Est and University of Trieste. Let's present the first speaker. Professor Stefano Dallaglio is a political and religious historian of early modern Italy. His interests include public history, digital humanities, and archival studies. He is a senior research fellow at the Medici Archive Project, New York, Florence, and he has held a fellowship at Villa I Tatti di Harvard University Center for Italian Renaissance Studies, the Institut Histoire de la Réformation of Geneva, the New